Hey, wrestling card collectors, welcome to another edition of WTCtv. And here we are again with Mr. Price Guide himself. How are you, Paul?
I'm not too bad. Tony, how are you? Another month?
I'm doing good, man. And as we do every month, we try to do a recap of the month before. So we're going to start recapping some cool stuff that happened in the world of wrestling trading cards for the month of September.
News and events.
Oh, yeah.
So
Before we start that, go for it.
We're going to start actually on a bit of a sad note.
Yeah.
Because we lost one of our own this month. For those of you that didn't hear, Chef Carl Tilley passed away rather suddenly a couple of weeks ago. For those of you that don't know Chef Carl, he was on Tony's show a few times. I think you did the breakdown with Chuck on the Teenage Sets. I know that you and Zan had him on at least one Worlds Collide podcast, if not a couple. And I became close with Carl maybe about 6 months ago, when inadvertently he asked me a question about he DM'd me on a Fleer question, and we started sort of communicating that way. And we got word from his family that
just last week,
suddenly, and the scary part is that he was only 52 years old, so right in there with you and I, brother.
Yep.
You know, and it makes you think, like, wow. 1 minute you're here and collecting your wrestling cards and living life and enjoying, the next moment you're not. So that's a blow to the hobby whenever we lose one of our own. He was a lifetime collector. He had a lot of vintage stuff. He was very, very knowledgeable, and he was sort of included in our sort of league group of guardians of people that you'd go to when we had questions about wrestling cards and stuff. So very sad. Once again, Chef Carl Tilley passed away 2 weeks ago, 52 years of age. He's going to be missed by all of us, even though we never met him in person.
Nope.
There's a camaraderie and a closeness that we all have with each other.
It's amazing when we do these podcasts or videos, whatever we want to call them. We end up meeting people for the first time virtually. It's just all of a sudden a closeness starts here. It's like that. It's just something so unique about the wrestling trading card community. Is
we become friends.
Friends, you know.
And we're on Twitter, so we often communicate with each other. Quite often, usually during the course of the week, it's daily, sometimes twice a day.
You'll
throw out something, and I'll back in the course of our days. We're miles apart, different. But there's a thing on WCW autographs. Hey, Tony, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Chef Carl was definitely in that group, and he was respected amongst all of us. And he was from what I could glean on the conversations we had, very, very knowledgeable about older stuff, particularly the Fleers.
He was talking about putting out his own little YouTube channel, talk about do a correlation between wrestling cards and then understand the history behind.
And the history. That's right.
Which would have been really cool.
He had that project on the go. So, lesson to everybody out there: live every day like it's your last. If you intend to do something, get on it, because you never know.
You never know, man. I miss that guy. He was one of my favorite guys, and such a knowledgeable guy. And it's kind of a blow.
Yeah, big
kind of. It is a blow.
Yeah, it's big loss for the hobby. Anyway, so all the best to Chef Carl's family, and we'll be thinking about him.
Yep.
So let's move on. Some big news was announced by you and Zan last week, and I'm going to let you take the floor. I just wanted you to sort of explain to everybody about your first.
I feel like this is your show now or something, man. What's going on here?
Well, because you can't ask this question. Only I can ask this question. I want to know about this virtual con that you guys have planned. So I got.
Are you taking part of that or no?
Well, I don't sell a lot, right? So I'll be watching.
It's not a matter of selling though. So what's happening here is that we're putting on the very first wrestling virtual con. So people who want to sign up for their 15-minute slots windows, you don't have to sell. You could sell, showcase, trade, offer things up, brag about what you got. I mean, whatever you want to do for your 15 minutes. It's just about showcasing the hobby itself in some way, shape, or form. I'm sure most people are going to want to use that time frame to probably sell stuff, maybe to make some money. I don't know.
Well, I just didn't want to take the space of someone who actually had stuff to sell. You know what I mean?
Zan's keeping it's a joint effort between Zan Morning and myself under the Worlds Collide, Wrestling with Cards, WTC. We'll have special guests on the first night. Second night, we're doing a cool box break, compliments of Wes Moore. He donated a couple boxes of the 99 WCW embossed.
Cool.
So I think that's sold out for, I think it was $20 for 2 packs. You get whatever you get out of it, and it's yours. With the exception of the Hogan Ringside Rarity, which is what Wes said. But he said if you get that card, he has a replacement, a really cool Hogan Swatch replacement for that. But everything else is up for grabs for whoever's going to get it. I know my wife's not too thrilled because it takes part of on a night that I'm supposed to go help her for her job, but you know,
But
gotta
it's
do what we gotta do.
that's why I wanted you to sort of elaborate on it more, because it's a great idea that you guys have come up with, and it's sort of, these are the germinations of things that turn into big expositions. And 5 years from now, when this is an international event, we talk about how it was just a little online
Yeah, it's
thing
just an
way
online
back in
thing with
2021. You know what I mean?
12 people participated in this online thing,
Yeah,
and now we've got
just
like
do Zan and
1,200
a few
people
people.
coming.
Well, I'll certainly hop on, but like I say, I'll check with Zan. I just don't want to take the space of someone that's got legitimate product that he wants to sell, and
Yeah, we're going to
I
be
think a lot of
streaming
people
it.
know I've got a lot of wrestling cards, and I can show them at any given time, as I do daily on Twitter. But yeah,
We're going to be streaming it through Facebook and the YouTube channel.
Right.
We're going to do a test run because I've never done it through YouTube before. So there's another program I have to get put on the system, because we're going to be doing it through Zoom, and then Zoom will broadcast it out through in live time through Facebook and YouTube. And I think we can do it through Twitter too. I think we found an app that allows us to put on multiple social media platforms. So we want to get as many eyeballs on this as possible to kind of really showcase wrestling trading cards, the hobby. People can check out what kind of a great community that we have. And just put a spotlight on wrestling cards.
Exactly. I think it's a fantastic initiative. That's why I wanted you to talk about it a little more and sort of.
I'm excited about it. Zan and I were talking about it, and he's always brainstorming stuff. So I just bounce ideas off of him, and then we kind of go with it. Here we are.
Zan's brainstorming and your new branding. Look out.
Yeah, look at. I mean, we represent, man. I got the shirt on. Yours should be
Very
getting
cool.
there soon. Look at you representing, Card Foundation.
Yeah, the Card Foundation guys. I missed them this week, but because I had a busy week. But anybody that Thursdays is the guys from New Jersey. They're always chatting about very light atmosphere. It's fun stuff. They know their stuff. They love talking about rookies, which is always an interesting conversation for us. But yeah, Card Foundation, obviously, Worlds Collide and Card Foundation.
Yeah, they gave us a nice shout out for the because they're excited about the event too that we're going to be having this month. I say next month. It's already October. Holy crap. So yeah. So speaking of, we got what new releases we got coming out? What's the new release update? Let's section.
We didn't have as many as we did last month, but the big one was one that just came out on Friday, which is the Major Pod guys. They put out their autograph collection, and there's 15 cards in that set. Although there we go. Yeah.
I got 2 of these if anybody needs one.
Yeah, well, Tony was the first guy to actually get 2 duplicates in one pack that you weren't supposed to get.
Yeah, and it doesn't bother me, really. It doesn't. They're so nice about it. Someone reached out and goes, "Hey man, I'll take care of that for you. Let me send you a replacement." I'm like going, "Hey, you don't have to. That's really nice of you." But yeah, I love the quality of cards. They're great card stock. They look just like the old WCW classic autograph cards. It's sold out officially as of this time we started recording this. It's sold out officially.
So they're sold out now. So
they're sold out. Yeah.
That was 450 packs total.
450 packs gone. Yeah.
And they weren't. They were $85 a pack, but you're getting 5 autos for that. So if you do the math, it's about $17 and change for.
Unless you live in Canada.
Well, no, my brain is always in American dollars. I've never once did a conversion on a wrestling card, or it would make me vomit. So I just think in American dollars. But I'm curious about that 15. I know the Danhausen one is one of the more popular ones at this stage, but no one is. We've only seen so far 14 of the 15. So that 15 is either a short print or something special. So by our show next month, we'll.
What's your guess on it? What do you think it is?
On who it might be?
Yeah.
No idea.
My guess was Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, you think Jeff Jarrett? That
was my guess.
No idea, because they've got a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Oh, John Coleman, referee. No idea.
Do you think were there any surprises in this set?
Well, they're. It's funny because the Major Pod guys are actually they're a podcast for figures, right? They're not an actual wrestling federation, but they've become so big with that they put out cards of their wrestlers, guys that like Matt and Brian and those kind of guys. No, it seems like their community, guys like Hornswoggle and these guys, they're all part of a group that sort of do indie shows and stuff together. So no, it seems to represent sort of everybody that I've ever seen associated with them in previous card releases. They did.
So there's nobody in this set so far that of the 14 we know of that's kind of like, oh, they got that guy.
Well, I saw Dolph Ziggler there as
Yeah.
DZ, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh, he's there now. But I think
Yeah.
again, it's a bit of a clique thing. It's a
Sure.
bit of a club amongst certain guys that know each other and are close with each other. And again, I've said before that Matt Cardona is a very bright guy. A great wrestler, a great entertainer, but he's also very smart with the way he
Yep.
runs
Very
businesses. And his partner
agreed.
Brian Myers, obviously, they've done a heck of a job with that Five Figures podcast. And now, you and I were talking before we came on about, they just sold 450 packs at $85 a pack, and we know what it costs to make trading cards. And if
Yep.
they're their buddies that are signing them for a beer, you've done all right.
They're
And I
doing
said,
pretty good.
yeah, you know what I mean.
It pays for the e-commerce side of their website.
It pays for a few things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other site that set that came out, which is more of a sort of out there oddball set, was the Hasbro figures out
Yep.
of the UK, and this is a custom made set. But the only reason why I mentioned it because these cards are beautiful. They're really, really interesting. Something you don't see every time. And I thought to myself, this kind of crosses over because figures guys would be interested in these, as would card collectors. And they're also like the Can-Am set that came out of Alberta earlier this year. They're bigger. They're 4x3. And if you go onto the price guide, you can see them. That's the latest thing I posted. And you can look at these Hasbro figures cards. And that's it. We're expecting Chrome finally this month. I think it is going to happen now.
Yeah, I think it actually, before we jumped on here, I was checking out some release dates, and I think it actually got moved up now, finally.
Yeah, because they were saying the end of the month.
Supposed to be the 27th this month, the same day as Undisputed, which,
Right.
that wasn't going to happen.
No.
And now from an advertisement I saw, it's supposed to be the 15th of this month now.
Right. And if that happens, great. I think we'll see
Great.
Chrome this month. I don't think we'll see the Undisputed. AEW slated for the first week in November.
November 3rd, supposedly.
Right. So we won't be talking about them a month from now when we're doing our talk. We'll be just on the verge of those landing. And then, of course, at Christmas time, we'll have all sorts of.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that one. I got a whole.
There's going to be all sorts of extra content, not only by us and by you guys,
everybody.
By everybody, is going to be opening stuff and showing what they got. And here's my MJF.
Yeah, I'm debating on how I'm going to do that because I got a case coming. So I'm trying to debate on how I'm going to do that. Half of that's going to Zan, and then the other half is mine, and I'm not sure how. I'm going to probably put something.
You don't intend to keep any, so I might buy from you. It all depends on when you get your cases relative to other people I deal with. Like, I mean, I don't want to be sitting for 2 weeks waiting when someone else has cards, because I like to get like you. I like to get the listings up as soon as I can. But usually I like to have the cards in hand. But I've stopped doing that now because up here in Toronto, it just with the border and stuff, it just takes longer. Like you mentioned, a T-shirt. I don't have my WTC T-shirt yet, and hopefully I'll have it by next time we do this. But
I hope so too. I mean, I'm really having a fun time watching people actually posting who get their shirts and then posting up their all-star cards that they lay on there like that. And I'm like playing with it like, hey, damn, I sent you another Hogan card. Can you please send that back to me?
Well, when I get my card, I intend to add it to the actual register with your Nash card. It's an official WTC release.
Yeah. It's so funny. I don't even have the Nash card listed on the site yet.
No. Well,
I do have it listed. I got to get that on there. Because I got all the information. Obviously, I have all the information on it.
Speaking of AEW, we should mention about the e-packs because they came out this month.
Yep.
And we knew that the new AEW set was printed and off to the distributors. And then we saw the debut of CM Punk and the debut early September this month of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and Ruby Riott. And we thought, too bad, because they're not going to make this card set. And then lo and behold, here comes AEW with their e-packs. And for those that don't know, e-packs is kind of like Topps now, digital card, but they allow you to buy the card as a physical printed card some 4 to 6 weeks later. So they released a CM Punk card, I think in the first week of September. You just mentioned 8,800, was it?
As of this morning, I just did an update. It seems to go up a little bit every week, a little bit now, because I'm not sure how that is. Maybe there's just a recount, but it was around 8,000.
It wasn't being made anymore.
Yeah, it was just over 8,000. As of this morning, when we recorded this, it's at 8,173. That's the total.
And we mentioned at the top, Steve Austin, which is still the top, is about 55 and change.
55 and change, yeah.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea that the CM Punk card, not even a physical card yet, and still being counted.
And trading very high and selling very high on social media. I mean, on eBay. I mean, there's people asking 50, 60 bucks for that.
A lot of guys, like we just mentioned about Chuck buying 5 of the Bryan Danielson, people are specking.
Yeah. Oh, of course. So as this morning, the 3 EPAC cards that have been released so far, all are done. There's no more orders on those. Punk is at 8,173. Adam Cole's at 4,520, and Brian Danielson, is at 4,349.
And is that closed, or is this?
I think yes, that one's closed. Yeah, Daniel Bryan, he's closed.
So expect a recount on Brian Danielson. Probably be more. And then I wouldn't be at all surprised if they introduce an e-pack card for Ruby Soho, right?
Probably. That's speculation, rumor. I mean, we're getting real close to the actual release. So, I mean,
the cards aren't even in our hands. And I have to say, I like everything about the way this release has been handled, specifically the marketing and the hype around it.
Oh, of course.
From the outside community. But I don't know if I mentioned this last month, but when I saw on the Dynamite show the graphic for trading cards, I was floored. I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen such a thing. You know, I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. I've never ever seen on a WWE program anything other than their Shop Zone product, but nothing for trading cards or things like that.
Do you remember if TNA used to do that at all? It seemed like something TNA would have done.
I didn't watch TNA a lot, so I don't know. I don't know.
I can't think of any other, mainstream promotion out there that actually has ever advertised.
TriStar did put out a lot of TNA product. You would hope that they, where else would they have let people know about them?
Sure.
But this was like A&E is doing very, very well. I mean, we're in a full scale war now. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
And WWE is going to have to get creative again. And I think that the way that AEW is hyping the cards, especially online, is bringing in secondary and tertiary people into the market. You and I and our firms are going to buy them, but a casual wrestling fan might say, oh, wow, trading cards. And then once they buy that AEW trading card, we got them. Oh, look, there's a site called WrestlingTradingCards.com that has, look, there's a price guide that, there's wrestling with cards.
They have cards for WWE too. And they have cards for my local promotion too. That's the whole goal, is hoping to get new collectors into
more people,
because it's so surprising to me. I mean, I did an episode a while back ago with the owner of Wrestling Guy store, and until he opened his store,
he didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know. He's like, I didn't know they made wrestling cards.
I was floored by that. He's in California. He's buddies with you. I'm like, hang on. Well, you're buddies with Tony Vella. You don't know what the guy does?
Well, but at the time that I had interviewed him, he knew about them then. But when he had opened his store 7 years prior to that, he didn't know about it. He's like, I didn't know they made wrestling cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, up here, you mentioned somebody hockey cards, of course.
Of course.
But people don't know about wrestling cards.
No. And that's why we have these kind of things, hoping that we, let people know about this hobby and how cool it is.
Cool.
What have we got next?
Well, we got WTC and WC price guide updates for the month. What I talked about, I put up the major pod stuff. One of the things I've been doing as well, and then I'll let you talk about some of your updates, is in a lot of cases we have the video flip throughs for our sets, but where I don't actually have that set and can't provide a video, we've started adding image galleries, and a lot of them have come from Chuck, a lot of them have come from Nick. Yep. It all started with a guy who had some of the 50s Mexican cards, and he sent me these binders, and the images were beautiful. And I thought, well, it's going to be a bit before Tony gets going again. And the way you do it is right. You click on one card and you get one image. But admittedly, it's going to take a bit for us to get back to that, where WTC had direct links to every image. So as a sort of
working on it.
Yeah, of course. And there's no hurry. I mean, it's all going to get there for all the collectors eventually. There'll come a time where we'll look at each other and say, hey, we got nothing to do. But,
we know that's not true.
Yeah. But I think that, just putting in those galleries onto the site has brought a few more eyeballs. And that was the biggest sort of update for my site. And I'll let you talk about some of your stuff. I know you're still going at it pretty hard and heavy, getting updated.
Well, if you could look at the, obviously the monthly updates is not what it used to be, because, we're we're closing the gap here now. So it's like, all we're kind of really looking for is to fill in a couple of old sets we still haven't got checked.
Yeah, because you're very current on everything that's new, like 2021, 2020, 2019. It's all there, I believe.
So just filling in some holes here and there from 2014, 2016, filling some holes in there, and then whatever new comes out, try to jump right on it. I mean, the moment that the first 14 cards were revealed for the Major Wrestling Figure podcast card set, boom, it was up. I mean, it was up immediately.
And I noticed you got the AEW set up already, and it's not even out yet. And I don't do that. I won't do it until it comes out, because I try and put some preliminary numbers. But that's going to be a tricky one, because as soon as I price the AEW set, that's really sort of stabbing
Well,
in the
speaking of
head.
then, so it's new stuff. Then where did you come up with the price point then for these major wrestling autograph cards like that? I mean, you had them up and they hadn't even hit the market really.
Okay, well, do the math. They're $85 for 5, right? So that puts them about $17, and you got to get them shipped to you. So I think I put them in around 15 to $20 a piece, and then my spread with that brings them up. And I think I put a couple of them
Well,
like
someone's
Matt.
at 100.
Yeah, I not on my site.
Yeah, you've got one at $100 on your site.
No, of the major.
Yeah,
Really? Which one? We'll have to look that up.
I'm gonna go check it out right now, buddy.
I think Danhausen was the most expensive.
He was, and he had him at a high of 100, I think.
I thought it was 40 and 75. Double check that.
Maybe, yeah, you might be right. $75, I think it is. Still, that's kind of
Yeah.
high, right? Yeah, 40 and 75.
40 to 75 is the range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that on the secondary market tomorrow, Danhausen can get 50 to $60. Now I don't know 3 weeks from now. Depends on how we all make
Well, if
out.
you ask him, he's asking 900.
Yes, well, that's exactly. He'll make as many as you want for 900. That's the guy with the future, by the way, because he knows how to work social media and he's interesting. As soon as I saw Danhausen, I said, "What's a Danhausen?" And looked him up, and I said, "Okay, this guy's going to do well because he gets it."
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, not sure how the pricing is going to work on AEW, but yeah, usually I don't even put up a listing until I get my cards, so I can put up the flip through at the same time. But sometimes it could be like 3-4 weeks before I get my cards from the time that it's released, and people are asking for it. So they're checking your site and getting information, and they're looking for some preliminary numbers, and that's all they are, is preliminary numbers, because there's always the price of stuff when it comes out, and then settled market 6 months later. And that settled market is often quite a bit less. Like if you look at the NXT stuff now, I was just checking the other day, and this real inexpensive NXT audit was like $5, $4.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about that when I do. Well, we can get to that now, actually.
I'll tell you, adding that the checklist for the new Major Fig podcast like that is it felt like old school to me for WTC back in the day when something came out immediately, boom, had it up immediately. It felt really fun and good to have it up there immediately.
Well, that's why it's good that when you get caught up, then when stuff hits, we're
there's still a lot of stuff, like a lot of back end stuff I'm still working on. Some stuff I want to
even the living set. You've been updating, like I have, the living set weekly now. As soon as you get the new names, as soon as you get the print runs, and like I said earlier, that kind of just-in-time information is important. It's nice that we have all the archival stuff that people go check anytime, but we do get, I don't want to say it's half, I don't know what it is, but we do get a lot of people that are into the new product and want to see information on it right away. Yep. And it's kind of incumbent on us to make sure that we have some sort of listing or some sort of representation for it, so we don't get lost in the shuffle. But
makes it easier this time around for me, knowing that we have a team of people who actually communicate with each other and help out and
well, yeah, I'm on your team.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's fun for me because I get to be a part of WTC and be part of your operation, and then I get to do my little price guide thing on the side. And Chuck was asking me about that. He says, "Are you going to do like Tony and do branding?" I said, No. The price guide is just that. It's just a little website that does wrestling card prices. I said, if things start going with WTC, I'm going to jump on that train with Tony and help him build that, beyond just being.
Yeah, I got a lot of plans and thinking a lot of things in the future. The more I talk to guys like Zan and start thinking about moving forward and above and beyond, just what we're doing kind of thing, still keeping it within the realm of cards. But WTC at this point, after next year is going to be our 20th anniversary next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got some plans for next year. We have plans for things we want to do next year as well. Yeah,
we have plans, but we're keeping sort of tight-lipped about it for now.
And then but I also have plans to kind of coincide with that, hopefully. And then also by the end of year next year for the 20th anniversary of doing something, kind of to celebrate that and
to celebrate the 25th. Fantastic.
Yeah, just to keep the thing, the t-shirt, the t-shirt was step one. That's step one right there. So it
turned out great. I mean, I don't have mine yet, but looking forward to it.
It's nice, and I'm very happy with it. So my wife's disappointed I didn't get her a shirt. So
you didn't get your wife a shirt?
No, I didn't. I got myself one. I got David Porto one. He doesn't even do anything right now with the site. I got him one, and then I got my son one.
there wouldn't be a wrestling card price guide, nor would there be a wrestlingtradingcards.com if David Porto didn't put all that effort in many years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
That tedious, time-staking work that he put in by himself, not me,
Yep.
not you, not Chuck. David Porto is the man, really,
Yeah.
that we built these things from. He built the skeleton, if you will, for both these sites. So, t-shirt at a minimum.
Yeah, it's true. Moving on. What do you want to move on to here? We got a whole bunch of things to cover here.
Yeah, here's something interesting. I wanted to briefly discuss the John Cena NFT. And I know that
Yes.
NFTs have gotten discussed a lot on our shows, and they're not trading cards, but it's kind of an area that we've expressed interest in. And I know that the Undertaker NFT offering at WrestleMania did well, and you bought into that.
I bought into both nights. I bought into.
And the top tier one sold very quickly. So fast forward to SummerSlam and John Cena coming back into the picture, they had the bright idea that they were going to release 500 NFTs of John Cena, which would have wristbands and T-shirts and stuff with that sort of
Sure.
that look that he was portraying. And they put the price point at $1,000, and they sold 37 out of 500. So it was a dismal, abject failure. And John Cena was the first guy to admit that, man, we really overshot the mark here. And I just wanted to talk about that because it seems to me it's pretty obvious. I think the price point was what
way high. The price point is the first
way
right
high.
there.
Even $500. And they said that we've got $500 worth of stuff here. And I'm like, you know what? If it's a picture of an NFT and you're the only one that has it, maybe 20 years from now that has value. But now when we're talking about, I think it was a Super Mario tie-in that they did with T-shirts and caps and
yeah.
And there was one particular auction for like a super package at WrestleMania, but just the NFTs themselves at $1,000 a piece.
I see, and I didn't even follow through with that one. As someone who bought the Undertaker one, I wasn't as excited about what they were offering because I don't remember if there was like different tier levels like there was for the Undertaker.
No, it was just
a flat. It was a flat rate, $1,000, 500 of them. That was what it was.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, had they given me like the option of like $100 buy-in for something and gave me something for like $100, I might have been more intrigued. But I lost interest immediately when I saw the price point. Said there's no tiers, there's nothing.
Yeah, and it's $1,000.
Yeah.
And what are you really getting for that $1,000 of value?
And it's really bad advertising, I think, too, or bad marketing when you say, well, you're getting $500 for the stuff, then why am I paying $1,000 for it?
Right. Exactly. Good point. So live and learn there. I think NFTs aren't going anywhere, and I think that Nick Khan and his bunch over there are really looking to exploit that more. But lesson learned, and hopefully they bring it a little more into the realm of
all the cons in the world. I don't know if he's not in my top two.
No, yeah, exactly. We got conned by con.
I got conned. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. This month, we talked earlier, was exciting for wrestling because we had the debuts of Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole on AEW. But a lot of talk happened around the dark side of the ring, and the controversy of a specific episode that happened mid-month with Ric Flair and Tommy Dreamer. And we're not going to talk specifically about what happened and what they did, but just the sort of reaction of it. And it got me to thinking, I wonder if this is going to affect the value of their tradables, or particularly their cards. Because I'll be honest with you, I can't listen to Michael Jackson anymore. And when he was alive, and the trouble was going on, and it was court cases and things like that, I thought maybe there was people opportunistic. I never really let it sort of go. And then I saw the documentary that was made after he passed from his victims, and I'm like, wow, this really happened. And when I watched The Dark Side of the Ring, I felt bad. I felt guilty because this wasn't news. This is something we've known about. WWE made a cartoon about it. Flair's been naching so long as I've been watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that, I feel guilty that I accepted it, that this is going on, and obviously it's not right, and that's not what this discussion is. But just the fact that, all these years later, we put it in front of us, and we judge it, and we realize that this is something that should not have gone on. Certainly can't go on today. But I felt bad because it's like, yeah, I knew about this, and I never spoke up, and I never thought anything about it. And I actually thought, hey, Ric Flair's my idol, And so my thing was, I wonder how this is going to affect trading cards. I don't think it did, because the next day, people are posting Ric Flair stuff. I started thinking more, well, Hogan a few years ago had some controversy with
Yep.
prejudices and things that were accused about him and things like that, and then that whole Gawker mess and all
Hmm.
that stuff. So Hogan's not impervious to controversy, and yet he's the biggest name we have in the sport of collecting cards. So I think I've answered your own question. But what were your thoughts on that? Do you think that when a wrestler gets controversy, like we saw with Tommy Dreamer, a lot of people didn't like the way he responded to what happened at the time. Do you think that adversely affects the value of his cards and
I think
collectibles?
it depends on the actual talent you're talking about. When you have an established legendary names like a Hogan, like a Flair, it's not that they're bulletproof, but they're pretty damn close to being that bulletproof
Right.
outside of, but depending on the accusations being made, depending on the controversy that's going on. um but you have a level of a Tommy Dreamer, something like that, and it's not to disrespect to those kind of guys, but there's a Tommy Dreamer and then there's a Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And
And
even
JR
like,
said that Ric Flair was a made man. And that's no excuse
basically,
for anything, but that was a
because
sort
it's not
of,
excuse, it's not an excuse for whatever the accusations are. I totally 100% agree with you. But then you look at stuff like, it depends on where you are on that totem pole, I think, too. You look at like, what happened what last year before, with all the accusations being made in the independent circuits like that, the stay Me Too, like not the Me Too movement, it was like the
yeah.
wrestling equivalent to Me Too music movement.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
actually, I mean, Velveteen Dream was accused of
yeah,
stuff.
Joey Ryan
Stuff like
got
that,
hit,
yeah.
and Joey Ryan's been completely, 100% outcast now from,
Vindicated.
yeah, he's been out. No,
Okay.
he's like, no wrestling company will touch him.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so
So,
he's just his career, as far as a wrestling career, I don't see it ever coming back.
right.
Same with the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
I don't see anything coming back with that guy. Again, I don't know all the
Well,
details of the
obviously,
cases.
if it impacts or if it torpedoes their wrestling career, then obviously we know that's going to affect their
Yeah. So I
collectibles.
mean,
Like
obviously, I
even
mean,
like
my number to 10 autograph card that I got from Undisputed that finally came in from Tops like that. I mean, I can't even get rid of that Velveteen Dream card.
right.
Like I have.
Well, it's a shitty signature too, huh? Just
It's just a line. I mean, it's all it
mhm.
is. I mean, I feel like I should get it.
Think about
I should get my pen in here and fill it out for him.
fill it in Velveteen.
Yeah.
Think about Benoit, for example. I was a huge Chris Benoit fan,
Yeah.
and then
Same here.
he had some a bad ending, and he's sort of written out of WWE lore, and they did that with Hogan for a while too. They took
Yeah.
Hogan out
Of
of everything
course.
and they kind of reintroduced him. And I thought, well, the WCW Chris Benoit auto is still trading when they come up at a good number. So it doesn't seem to me like in his case. It destroyed his value. But I was just wondering about that. Like, does controversy hurt the value of trading cards?
Well,
And I guess,
hey,
like you say, it
that's what
depends on the
Bischoff says,
guy.
man. Controversy creates cash.
Yeah, yeah,
But
interesting.
it depends on the talent. It really does. I think it depends on the level of talent you're talking about and the accusations being made. Had someone been accused of being a pedophile or,
Right.
I mean, those are the kind of things that the general public looks at, and we all say there's no excuse. I mean,
There's no case for
yeah,
that.
there's no case for
There's not
that.
even time to adjudicate and think about it.
No,
Everyone's
no, it's like, yeah, no, dude,
no
you're
good.
done. You're done.
Right.
So I guess it depends on the accusations being made. It depends on who it is you're making it against. Because Brock Lesnar was also brought up in that whole segment as
Yes, he
well,
was.
too.
Yeah, Terry made some accusations as well.
I've that's already kind of completely died and gone away.
Yeah, and I don't want this to be a moral discussion about the behavior of these
Sure,
guys.
yeah.
But like even when the whole Me Too movement started, my first thought is, well, what about the guys in Kiss and the Rolling Stones and back in the day,
Of
like the
course. Well,
debauchery
hey,
that
we
went on in
don't
the
have internet
70s?
back then with no pictures, no
Yeah,
nothing.
and then I thought about Ric Flair. I said, well, Ric Flair's probably guilty of everything that. And then sure enough, it happened, and I
Yeah,
thought, there it is. And then I thought further, now, are we going to cancel Ric Flair? And I really hate that term because
yeah.
here in Toronto, for example, one of the major cities, or sorry, streets in the city, Dundas, they're going to rename it because apparently Dundas had slaves, right? And it's this kind of there's and we have a university called Ryerson here in town, and they've knocked down the statue of Egerton Ryerson, who created the Educational Institute for the province, but because he too, so there's a lot of going back and then changing things, and for me it's like we have to behave appropriately, but you can't erase history. And in wrestling, you certainly can't erase history. I mean, a lot of the stories that are shared amongst wrestlers probably don't pass muster in today's day and age.
Correct.
But it's the time that we're living in.
Yeah, and I just yeah, I'm not seeing like Flair's not, his collectibles aren't being affected by this. Uh, wrong or right. It's just it's that's where it's at. As far as collectibles go, I don't think collectors still want to collect.
Yeah, that's what it
So
is. Speaking of collections, let's get back into what we're here for, talking
yep,
about wrestling cards and prices. I just wanted to go over our monthly spreadsheet and also just talk about some of the bigger sales. No one likes to hear about the $5 or $10 sales, but everyone wants to hear about the big ones. So I thought,
of
okay, well,
course.
let's review September and look at all the stuff that sold for over $1,000. Um, not sets particularly, but just individual cards, and we can talk about it as we go along.
Well, let's
The
start from
big,
the bottom. Let's work from a bottom up. You got
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I started at $1,000.
yep,
And that's my tier. And it's interesting because when you look at the names in here, you realize, yeah, these are pretty much the Grail cards on any month, not just the September of 2021. But when you get to the top 3 or 4, these are cards that are always going to be the top 3 or 4 cards.
sure.
And I realized, yeah, we can put together a sort of Grail bunch of cards that are always going to trade for over $1,000.
And then now, and I'm assuming that all of these are either going to be some sort of either graded cards or
Some are graded, some aren't, but we'll
okay,
go through
okay.
them and then just you want me to start at the bottom. Okay, so I stopped at $1,000, but we had a 2020 Rhea Ripley Transcendent VIP. Now you know the Transcendent
Yep.
product is expensive, but they had that VIP party, and then they released certain cards and a bunch of auto cards, and most of those cards were ones of ones, but Rhea Ripley actually signed 25 because this
Yeah.
one was numbered 8 to 25 of her VIP party autograph, and that sold for $1,000.
Wow.
But Rhea Ripley and numbered of 28, 1998 Savage WCW autograph. And we're going to talk in general, there's going to be probably about a half a dozen WCW autographs that are always going to sell for $1,000 plus. And Savage is going to be one of them. And I'll go up the line. There's, I think, a Guerrero on here, I believe. Yeah, 1998 Guerrero sold 1,300 this past month. So Guerrero, Savage, Elizabeth, Hogan, obviously, they're always going to be sort of in that group that's going to sell $1,000 plus. Here's an interesting one. 2020 Sasha Banks Women Division 1 of 1 red. Sasha Banks, $1,025.
I was at 1,200, right?
That's Sasha Banks. That's
Oh,
one
wow.
of one.
Wow.
Right. I mentioned the Eddie Guerrero. Okay, now we get into some graded stuff. A 1982 Andre All-Stars sold PSA 6, sold for $1,500. In 1985 Hogan Topps PSA 9 sold for 24 and a quarter.
What about the one between that?
Then we got this is an interesting one. The 1995 Steve Austin WCW main event PSA 10. So that's just the base card of what people believe to be the Austin rookie.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into chromies and what the real Austin rookie is.
Yeah.
But that went for $1,500 for a base card on a PSA 10, right? Which
now, when your research on this too, was this all done? Some of them buy it now. Were there bids back and forth?
What I do is what I did was I just took September, right? So August 31st was the cutoff. And when I use 130 point, you can look at buy it nows and actual off bids. And then I take the top of that card. So for example, if a Savage sold for 1,025, another one sold for 900, I'll just mark the 1,025, the higher number one.
Yeah.
Just for illustrative points, so we can say, okay, this is in that group of top sales of the month.
I'm wondering if that was a straight buy it now or people actually bid it up to that much.
I don't know. Good question.
I'm curious to see that kind of stuff.
It seems like a buy it now though, doesn't it? At $1,500.
Yeah.
1985. I just mentioned Topps PSA 9 on a Hogan. The most expensive one was $24.25, so almost $2,500 for a 85 Hogan. Now this one is going to get me talking. The 1996 WWF magazine Triple H PSA 10 sold for $3,100.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now that was sold as the Triple H rookie card.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I got news for them.
Well, and that's a great conversation to have, I think, because I know that you are the flag bearer when it comes to the 95 Panini sets like that. But
yeah, and
I don't
and
think it gets recognized as being the rookie though. It's no different than being like a Jordan card.
Even though it is, even though those 4 are the rookies, you're right. Excuse me. And we talked about this, Zan and I, on the video. Because there was so few of them, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Do we have others in the market that we can actually kind of say, okay, well, there's, X amount on the market kind of thing. But when you're kind of like the only guy in town that has it,
Well,
really,
Anthony has them.
yeah, it's just, it's
Anthony
difficult.
has the 4 Triple H's.
Okay. I mean, still
He
2
just doesn't have
people
the
out of
complete one.
millions people. I mean, it's still, again, there's older cards and rarer cards of Jordan, but that 86 Flair is the go-to rookie.
Right.
The market dictates and decides what's going to be the rookie. We could sit here
Yeah,
and talk, and we do it all the time. Like every single conversation we have about wrestling cards, it seems to have gravitate around first appearances, rookies, whatever. It's like that. But the market's
Now
always going to dictate.
that's been sort of my mission, is to get the set known. That's why
Sure.
I often tweet stuff from that set. But the reality is that those 4 Triple H cards came out before the magazine card. Now they weren't. They might have been a limited print run, and this is what I mentioned last time, is that it doesn't do me any good that there's not more of them out there. But interesting that the magazine card went for 3,100.
It isn't pretty impressed for the magazine cards like that. It really is.
What do we got next? 1998 Comic Images Rock PSA 10 signature autograph, $4,500. Now that's interesting because this was a $7,000 card about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I think it might have even been a $12,000 card back in height back in February. That I don't know for a fact.
I think it eclipsed 10 grand, I believe.
I think it did, yeah. But 4,500 for a that's PSA 10, so mint graded.
Do you find that to be a steal?
Steal?
Oh, okay.
Like how many?
Is it a good price?
Well, for a PSA 10, there's not going to be a lot of them, right?
As a collector, if I'm somebody who's looking to invest, is that a good card for me to invest in?
Absolutely, because there's only so many of them. What I'm trying to get my head around is the raw versions, like what I have, versus a PSA 10, and that's the difference. The fact that it's got the highest grade you can get.
Yeah, of course. Moving on up, we got
moving on up. Moving on up, we got 1982 Ric Flair Wrestling All Stars PSA 9, sold for $49.38, so just under $5 grand. And then the biggest sale of the month was a 1982 Hogan PSA 7 from the All Stars at $53.52. And that sort of gives you an idea, 1 month to the next, these are going to be the cards that are going to come up: the Hogan All Stars, the Ric Flairs, the Andre the Giants, and on the vintage stuff as well. Excuse me. It's you're going to always get Hulk Hogan, you're going to get Ric Flair, you're going to get Andre the Giant, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, those are your go-tos all the time anyway. So like when we have All Stars are always going to have at least 3 to 4 entries in the top 10 list. Probably, I think it's just a given. That's just it's the GOAT set to go after.
Yeah, seems it. It seems it. They're holding their value for sure. And then I guess the last thing we should look at is our monthly thing. You'll notice that I got rid of some categories to get a more streamlined look. The 2002 Royal Rumbles are holding steady at about 180. The Hogan 85, $50. The Impel base set 15. So it seems like the market is not really dipping that much. It seems to be pretty level just based on these indicators.
Yeah, I looked over the spreadsheet for the month of September that you sent out, and there's nothing major as far as what's changed. I mean, really,
no, it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. Like
we have a very steady little dipping up, up and dip, up and down, up and down. It's just not. It's nothing drastic. I mean, are you going to find a deal sometime when someone mislabels something on eBay? Yeah, yes. You got to steal for it. But I think on average, these things are going to continue to keep holding steady.
Yeah, it seems like it, because like if we look at the Royal Rumble set, 200, 160, 172, 180. So it's coalescing around 175, seems to, and that's from many different sales. Like the Charlotte one's great because we go from June to September, we go $38, $33, $34, $37. So it's right in line. The market isn't changing. The value is and that's at a high of 40 and a low of 22. But this is starting to work for us, that now we can take our overall indicators, and like I said, I've pushed it down to 5 that we've always got product to look at. And from September to August, we're at an average of 48 from 46. And in July, we're 49. So you're right. It seems to be that the market is holding pretty steady. Yeah,
it's just an Impel set. Really, it's just a steady. I mean, all of them. They're all. Yeah. I'm looking at the chart right now, and all of them are very. The only significant huge drop at one point in time was that Hogan 85 in July. For
Yes,
whatever reason, July, it took the biggest dip, but it
yes,
rebounded strong for the next month,
right,
and
right
it's
back
held
into
steady
that
since then.
into that $50 range. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's held steady since then.
yeah. So a PSA 7 is $5,000, and a Raw is 50. So that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
When it comes to All Stars, should you be grading them or not? There's your answer.
Well, that's, yeah, 85. Yeah. So, yeah, it's incredible to see that. I love looking at these charts that you put together. So, yeah, especially for, now that we have 4 months worth, I can't wait to see like 1 year
Going
from
in a
now.
year.
Yeah, where we're at in a year.
Well, yeah, because when I'm looking at monthly pricing and trying to update sites here and there, different sets on the site, then it gives me an idea of the average. But the Royal Rumble, Fleer Royal Rumble is going to be a benchmark set that we're going to be looking at, because it's really right in line, and it's sort of the set from that Fleer era. And I still haven't updated it on the site. I probably still have it at 15 or $25, but you can't buy one for less. You can buy for less, but the average is about $175 for that set.
Yeah.
You know,
And I just
wow.
think that that set itself is just going to continue to go up in price over the years, just because of that wonderful, strong
Yeah,
rookie, class.
yeah. And the impels are just gonna hold, because there's always another box out there somewhere.
Yeah, I just had my storage. I had a storage unit, a live storage unit, find that people were buying stuff off of me, and it did pretty well. And I
The
found four.
impels
I
did you
found
find?
four boxes. I found 4 boxes of Impel in there,
Of course you did.
and of course it. And so I was willing to get rid of. I kept one, and I sold 3 of them, and I think I only sold them for $25 a box.
Well, you did better than the average. You did well.
So it's just, the boxes are boxes, I guess. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of seal wax, so it was fun to kind of go through,
Yeah,
and
but you would think that like we talk about this, or you guys talk about it often, on that there's less and less of it out there. Less wrestling boxes,
sure.
especially vintage stuff like you guys are going to open
Yeah,
for the
but
con
Impel just
189.
seems to be like, we make jokes
Not
all the time.
Impel.
Yeah,
Not Impel. I was just going to say,
yeah, not Impel. They're
not
still
Impel.
printing it,
And it's still the most visited page on my site.
which
Still,
is still incredible to me.
it's still the most watched YouTube video of all 400 and some odd wrestling sets. The Impels are pretty much eclipsing everybody. All Stars, everything else. People are watching that video. I can't explain to you why. And Armand said it best, probably. It's because there's so much of it out there. People are like, oh, what's this? Let me learn about this, because I can actually get my hands on it.
It's
But
funny. I
it
had.
seems to me that they're still making it somewhere out of a
It
little
always seems,
factory.
that's the thing that you find in the lots, like in card lots, more than anything else. I think
Yeah.
this is my theory, because I have my aunt and uncle out in California. They look for things for sometimes. They see wrestling cards. They go, oh, it's my nephew Tony. I guess I should ask him about this. And almost every time they reach out to me, going, hey, I found this over here at a flea market, or I found it at whatever. They want like X amount of dollars, and I said, well, what is it? Can you describe it to me? And it's like, oh, it's a Lex Luger card, or it's a Ric Flair card. So my first go to is like, is it this color, and does it say
Yeah.
Impel
Yeah.
on the back? Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I know.
So like, I'll pass. Thank
Yeah.
you. Not for that
Yeah.
price.
We're going to be big winners on Jeopardy if a question ever comes up on Impels.
That's right. So, yeah, it's an
What else
interesting
we got?
month.
We got higher end sales. We did the index. We talked about Dark Side of the Ring. We talked about NFTs. We talked about our sites.
What do you got? I mean, what's coming up? Anything that you got different, new, exciting coming up for your price guide?
No, I think, just getting more galleries that I don't have videos for. And that's tricky, because a lot of stuff like is hard to find images for if you don't know someone that has the stuff, and you just can't go ripping it off from anywhere. But that's just staying in the loop with Chuck and helping you out and doing what we need to do to make sure both sites are sort of correct and current, and
I'm
as
having
features
I'm
as
having a hard
possible.
time trying to convince myself to post checklists now and advertise them without having at least an image to feature. I just can't do it anymore. Like, I just don't want a blank, no image available type of thing anymore. So I have a lot of checklists that I haven't published
Well,
yet.
sure, but you have the image like for the recent ones. That's all you need. You just
Yeah,
need one to put it out
I
there.
just need one, but I'm looking. I got a lot of stuff that Chuckster sent to me from a lot of older Japanese sets that I need. And he sent me so many images, so now it's up to me. I have to go through and at least get one image out of it, and
Yeah,
and size it
that's
up.
the biggest hassle. Like with these galleries, is because they take up a lot of space, right? So you have to sort of batch edit them, and then you got to get them manageable so
Yep.
that when people click on the site. But it's kind of cool because when you go into the price guide and you click on an image gallery and you click on the actual page, it goes big, and
Yeah.
then you can forward and you can get a pretty good look. And I mean, again, it's a stopgap. The right way is the way WTC always did it, is, here's the performer, here's the card, you click the card, there comes an image. That's what that in a perfect world, we'll get back to that on
Yeah.
WTC eventually. But in the meantime, as a quick way, that was my thinking, is that if I don't have a flip through for it, here's at least some way that people can look at the cards until such time as
Well, for me,
we
it's about social media presence on that. And that's for me, when I go to share it to Twitter or to Facebook, because we're both using WordPress, you have a thing called featured image on it. So you can actually put that as their featured image. So when I
Sure.
go to share it, that
Yes.
featured image shows up. If I
Yes.
don't have an image now, it just says no image available. And I hate that. So I have a whole bunch of checklists that I've put together now that are in draft format, waiting to be published until I get an image attached to it to post.
Well, I don't have my podcast cards yet, but I just took an image
Mhm.
that was out there and I used
Sure.
that temporarily. And then when my cards come in, I'll replace them with a nicer image. But I prefer to do the videos
Yeah.
where I can, because they're quick and they're easy and people can see the backs. But these galleries are people are enjoying them anyways.
Yeah. They're good. I like them. I go every time you put up a new video, I try to go there and like that video.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm not really promoting the YouTube videos. They're just sort of there to just add more to the
Well,
price.
it's to complement your website. So that's what it
Yeah,
is for. So
yeah,
it gives you
exactly.
a nice look at all the cards in the set, and it's a nice the flip through. It's great. I love it. That's why I go through and I watch. And I go, oh, you put a new one up there. Like,
Nice. Well, thank you very much.
yeah.
So yeah, just it's going to be a busy month. I think we're going to get the Chrome extension, and then the next month is going to be AEW, and then I
Yeah.
think it's going to get real interesting for everybody.
We'll try to wrap up when we can for October. End of October is going to be crazy for me. Just one birthday weekend for me. And then we usually go to California and visit for a few days like that and see my aunt and everything. So I'll do some card shopping while I'm out there, hopefully. And then
Nice.
but we'll get it done when we can get it done. So by the time we get around to probably do something, AEW stuff might be out.
Yeah, might be.
Who knows?
Now, is there any more updates before we sign off on your store? You made that announcement on
No,
the.
there's no further updates. It's just it's a capital thing, raising capital to get out there. And when you're trying to, you have to dip into your funds to help pay for other things in your lives like that. It's just my booking business is picking up a bit more. I just signed some good deals. 2022 is gonna be a better year for sure, because as the world starts opening up, I know that I'm going to be over in Europe quite a bit for doing a lot of tours with some talent over there. And I
That'll be
just
fun.
like this coming up Friday. I leave this Friday for Texas. I'll be at Big Texas Comic-Con this coming up weekend. And then for November,
Is that with Angle or with Kevin?
yeah, I have Kurt at Big Texas Comic-Con. So we'll be there Saturday, October 9th.
Right.
Then in November, I just booked Layla to come out here for an in-store appearance for a local card shop. And then I have Brian Clark out in California at the Wrestling Guy store. And then I think that's pretty much it for then December 11th, I'll have Kurt Angle out in California at the Wrestling Guy store. And then next year we just got going kind of crazy. Like when I found out that Kurt's schedule was pretty wide open for 2022, I jumped all over that and started filling up those weekends with bookings.
Nice.
So
Nice.
get out there and about, and if you're out there, wherever I'm in your area, come by and say hi, man. And love to start meeting some other wrestling card collectors. I always meet at least one, maybe two, every convention I go to. Someone comes by and will like, I'm a big card collector. Oh, WTC? No, or yes, yeah, I just collect. Like, yeah, that's a pretty expensive card you got there. You ever checked out wrestling price guides like that? Oh no, oh yes, so always out there promoting all the time. So it's just
Good.
getting the word out there, getting people to collect and have fun. And again, we have a
Well,
lot of. I know you and I, Paul, you and I have a lot of plans for 2022 when it comes to both of our websites, kind of melding a bit, branding, promoting. We have some stuff, and I'm hoping soon that we can make some announcements.
Yeah, we'll hold off on the big announcement because we might be able to make it next time. We'll see.
I hope so too. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, everybody.
So let everybody know who this is their first time seeing this video.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can
My
find
name
you.
is Paul Anand. I'm the owner of the Wrestling Card Price Guide, the WrestlingCardPriceGuide.com. I'm also one of the contributors on WrestlingTradingCards.com. So I get to live in both worlds, which has been a blast. And I'd also like to mention, just before I came on today, I just hit 1,000 Twitter followers. So thank you to everybody out there who's been supportive.
It's a great community, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Once again, sad about Chef Carl.
Yes.
Our hearts are with him.
And speaking of that, by the way, I've been talking to some people like that, Zan, my partner for Worlds Collide. I just, the second I heard that, like my first thing I thought, like, what can I do? What can I do? We need to do something for him. So we're nothing solid. It's just kind of throwing things to the wall, see what sticks kind of thing almost. But I feel like we should do something as a community to, help, honor, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what that is yet.
The one thing that came to mind, it's something we've played around with before, is in your subsequent trading card releases, we might do something with maybe the cartoon of Chuckster, or maybe some of the
I still love to do that.
in the hobby. Maybe we'll do something with Carl there.
That's a great idea, actually. A great idea.
We'll make that happen. Make sure that he's part of it.
We could do that, and we'll obviously donate all the funds to something, whatever his wife would like us to do. It's like that. It'd be great. Yeah, Chef Carl, miss you.
Yeah, we'll miss you, Chef Carl.
So with
okay,
that,
sir.
Anything else for me? You can find everything you want for social media for me. Everything's on WrestlingTradingCards.com. Go to the bottom of every page. You'll find Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I'm not like Zan. I don't have MySpace. I don't no buying me any energy drinks, although I could use them. I love my Monster. Yeah, everything's there, updating all the time. So, and with that, I guess we're done, sir. Well, until next month.
Hopefully next time I see you, I'm wearing my WTC shirt. So
I hope so too, man. I got something planned, something special. I've been saving all the images everybody's been posting on social media when they get their shirts. I want to do like a quick little video highlighting everybody who posted, kind of thing. Be kind of cool.
Okay, well, I'll definitely post mine as well to be part of that.
So everybody who's been posting that shirts, I mistakenly sent you an all-star card. Please send it back. I'd love to have the all-star card back. Yeah, it's for the virtual con is October 22nd and 23rd. I believe 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to have a couple of great things going on. Like we said at the top of the show, we're going to have the first night, we'll have some special guests. People both days will be having 15-minute slots to go out there and showcase their cards, sell cards, trade cards, buy cards, whatever they want to do. And then on night number 2, thanks to Wes Moore, we're going to have at least 1, possibly 2. I know we sold out of the first box, I think. We're going to be doing a live box break you can buy into. I think it's sold out for a $19.99 WCW Emboss box. And,
maybe you'll pull that Eric Bischoff out of
oh my God, there's a Ted Turner card in here. It's just, it's going to be fun. It's something that's never been done before. And hopefully we don't mess it up. We'll make it fun.
No.
And people will enjoy it. And maybe we'll have more in the future, depending on how this goes.
Well, everybody, don't miss that. And I'm looking forward to it. And all I say to you guys, keep up the good work. It's been
Thanks,
fantastic.
man. You too, man.
All right. See you next month.
Until next time, man. We are out.